I email her teacher, letting her know what's going on, letting her know that she's being bullied, letting her know that it's absolutely inappropriate, letting her know that Indy is using all her resources she knows how to say no. She says that she's going to inform office staff, she's going to inform the bus driver, and she, I don't know, I'm hoping is going to talk to the children because this is obviously inappropriate and I'm at a loss. And I had just got the mail and there was a paper from her elementary school. I thought, this is weird, so I open it. It's from the bus, I'm sorry, from the bus station. So I open it and it says that she was written up on the bus for punching a boy in the face. Like, it was from 2 weeks prior. All of my reactions and our conversation about this is very authentic. I filmed immediately in the moment because I had no idea what she was going to say about it. So this next film is me trying to figure out what happened because 2 weeks after an incident, I'm receiving a letter that I have never been notified about prior. Alright, so what happened with Luke?
I hit him in the face.
You what?
I hit him in the face.
Okay, but what happened?
He followed what I said.
He was copying you?
Yeah. I said stop copying me, and he said stop copying me.
Yeah.
Listen.
Was he sitting with you?
No, he was sitting behind me.
So how did you reach his face? Well, did you reach over the seat? How did you hit him?
He peeked up on me.
He what?
He peeked up on me.
Yeah, and then what? How did he peek up? Like this? Like this?
No.
Like what, on the side?
No, he peeked up in front.
Oh.
He peeked up. I was looking up there, and he went and looked.
When he looked at you, what did you do? Pretend mommy's him. Show me.
I told him to stop so my friend could sit next to him, and he kept doing it, and I did this.
Oh. What was he saying when you did that?
He was saying the same facts. He's saying the same thing that I said.
He was saying the same thing that you said?
Yeah. He was going to sit next to me, and she didn't want to be around, and that made me sad.
She was scared to be by him?
Yeah.
Oh, she called you in the office to ask you questions?
No, he did.
What questions did he ask you?
Did you hit me on the bus?
And what did you say?
Yes.
Did he ask you why?
No.
Was it crying?
I was.
Do you want to tell me anything else about it?
No, that's it.
Like, was your hand like this? Or was your hand like this? Like this or like this?
Like this.
And you went like that?
Yeah.
Did Mr. yell at you?
No.
What did he say?
He said no.
No what?
You can't do that. It's not nice.
And what else did he say?
That's it. And then I had to go back to the room.
Okay. Are you happy that you hit him?
Yeah.
Did he stop bothering you now?
Yeah.
Did he talk to you today on the bus?
No.
Does he talk to you anymore?
No.
He stopped talking to you after that?
Yeah. He didn't want to hit an eye again.
Babe, listen, I know you got in trouble and you can't always hit people, but I'm proud of you that you stood up for yourself. You hear me?
Yeah.
And you know what's really cool?
What?
Look at me. He leaves you alone now, right?
Yeah.
So high five. Yeah, girl. That's my tough girl. But we don't want to hit people. But people like that who just don't leave us alone, sometimes we have to make them scared of us and be like, yeah, leave me alone.
Mommy.
Wow, crown. I'm pretty upset. For starters, Indy says that the boy wouldn't leave her alone. The boy's in her face, copying her. She's telling him to stop. Where's the bus driver in all this? My next thought is, I have spoke to the school and I was told that everyone was being informed of it. So why hasn't this been addressed? Why has nothing been done till it gets to the point that Indy feels she needs to defend herself? And then when she defends herself, she's being written up. So I call the principal the next day after we talked to Taylor. He's like, yeah, you need to call the principal. So I call the principal. Hey, listen, and I wish I recorded the conversation because it was absolutely appalling. But so here's the situation. So I'm like, hey, listen, I don't understand why I wasn't notified, but 2 weeks ago an incident happened with my child and she was called in the office and I'm just finding out about it 2 weeks later. And he told me, you know, that's the process. It has to go through certain channels first, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, my child was talked to without me. Well, that's what we do. She's 5 and you're a grown man and you call her into your office and question her if she hit someone or not and tell her that it's wrong to hit someone. I didn't say this, I'm just saying. Without having a parent present. First of all, that's intimidating. Second of all, nobody asked her why she hit him. And everyone was supposed to be informed. I tell him, you know, she had a problem with this boy harassing her in the first place. And I was told that the bus and the principal were to be notified that this harassment was taking place. He said that he's never heard anything about it. Never heard anything about it. So I'm like, you know what, this is very out of character for my daughter. This little boy has been harassing her forever. And he said to me, hold on a second before you say anything else. You are completely out of context. He said, your daughter got out of her seat, went up to a little boy, walked to the seat of a little boy who was minding his own business, and she slapped him in the face for no reason. And I was baffled. I'm like, are you sure? Because that does not sound like my daughter. I said, I'd like to see the video. And he said, okay, I've personally reviewed the video, and your daughter gets up out of her seat and hits him for no reason. Go into the office during school hours. Indy's in school. Aspen comes with me. For starters, he lied to my face because they show me a video that's 10 seconds long, maybe at max. So as this 10-second video is about to start playing, he says to me, only look at your child, disregard everything else happening on the bus. We are watching your child, and that your child is the only part that's important in this. Okay, that's just shady. Why are you saying that? Stop. Let me make my own opinion. I'm watching the video. I see my child sitting in her seat. Seat is pressed against the back. So the back of her head is facing the front of the bus. Her face is facing the back of the bus. She's turned around in her seat. Over this seat, there's 2 little boys. Okay? This little boy is coming at her into her face. This little boy is standing in the aisle of the bus, coming at her in her face. You can hear Indy say multiple times, please stop, stop. I said stop. And the little boys are repeatedly going into her face. They go into her face 3 or 4 times. Came towards her face. It looked like she was like gonna hit him, but he went away quickly. And then the next time he comes over into her face, she hits the one boy. Now, these little boys start crying and they both run up to the bus driver. The bus driver comes back to Indy's seat Indy goes into the corner against the wall of the bus. She's like collapsing into her seat like this, and you can't see her face anymore. As the bus driver leaning over saying something to her like this. You can't see an Indy anymore at all. And then the bus driver turns around and he high fives both of the boys. And the video turns off. I watched the video and I look up at the principal. You told me my child left her seat. My child's not observed leaving her seat at all. Second of all, these boys are totally harassing her. And he says, well, ma'am, do you think it's of malicious intent? I think this was just a form of foul play. Everything I said, he disagreed with me. I was so pissed. I said, have a great day. I need to leave. I picked Aspen up. I walked out. I knew if I sat there for another second, I was going to flip. And I'm sorry to compare it to this. This is exactly what rape culture is. You teach a woman how not to be a victim while you teach a boy that they can do whatever they want. Indy got in trouble for not sitting correctly in her seat, and she is to never sit incorrectly in her seat again. Keep in mind, these little boys were jumping up over the seat into her face, and the other little boy was standing in the aisle not seated at all. And Indy's in trouble for not sitting correctly in her seat when two boys are behind her, one not sitting at all, one in her face. And she's in trouble for not sitting correctly in her seat. And you have a bus driver who could clearly see a little boy not sitting in his seat. And when my daughter got so frustrated, she retaliated physically. This man yells at her and high fives the boys. That is exactly what rape culture is. Why isn't anyone telling Indy ways that she can get help if she needs help? Telling her, listen, I understand that they were harassing you, and I understand why you felt the need to protect and defend yourself. But the next time you feel scared or threatened, all of us are here to help you. Instead, they call her to the office and yell at her, which makes her cry. The bus driver high fives the people harassing her, and her teacher says nothing to no one about helping her. I speak to Indy about it. She said that when they were called in the office, they said, did you punch him? She said yes. They said, you will not do that again, and took her back to class. If it ever happens again, she has my permission to do whatever she needs to protect herself. I praised her, and I told her that sometimes when people don't want to listen to you and no one else is helping you out, you need to take action yourself and handle it yourself when you have no one backing you up. I'm terrified to have my children in the public school system. Every time she's crying and doesn't want to go to school, I don't want to send her. You know why? I don't trust the principal. I don't trust the teachers, and I do not trust the bus service to have my daughter's best interest at heart. They failed to make a student feel safe. They failed to make a family feel safe. I had no communication. They spoke to my daughter in the office and yelled at her about an issue that I wasn't made aware about for 2 weeks. That is terrifying. She's not even old enough to comprehend when I get home, I'm going to tell my mom about this because this is something weird that shouldn't have been happening. She is not old enough to be spoken to alone, to deal with this alone. She is 5 years old. The world, the public school system, all forms of media are failing our children. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if this has happened to you. Subscribe if you want to see more of our journey, and I'm definitely going to make an update video on this. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video. Bye, guys.